At 6:03, we'll call the meeting to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Mayor Patricelli,
Present.
Councilman Dawes,
Here.
and Councilwoman Diamond is absent.
Okay, I'll ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just mention that we had a budget meeting at 5 o'clock discussing the water and sewer budget. And now we'll proceed into our regular meeting, and I'll ask for the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting.
The minutes were not completed. I did not send them to you. I was trying to get those done today. So we'll have both the 9/7 and the 9/21 minutes at our next meeting.
So we're not going to make a motion?
So there won't be a motion for the minutes because they don't exist. Yes.
Not yet.
What would have been, never mind.
All right. We'll move into reports of officers and committee.
Okay. So the engineers were on site, their architecture. We looked at the pool today. We're getting ready to finalize the RFP to go out. We believe we'll get that out probably within 2 weeks. Let that sit for a couple in the community, maybe about 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and then bring you back a RFP for redoing the roof, redoing the plumbing, and some of the other issues that have come to light with the water lines and things like that. But we'll have you engaged. We don't have any estimates now as to what the top possible funding costs are going to be, but we're going to look to get that to you prior to.
Joe, not to interrupt you, but you're talking the bathhouse?
If that's what you call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Just so you know, we had an issue over the summer there with plugging a popcorn machine and it didn't work because some of the rooms we don't have enough power to them.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if that you're aware of that.
So power upgrades
Okay.
are what we're looking at. Revising the bathrooms. We don't need as many as we did back when that was fully functioning. So we're going to do improvements there. Possible redesign interiorly, as far as that goes. But we'll show you what it is before that goes out. I know the mayor posted today on Facebook some of the advances we're having with the church. We're looking at the lift is going to be is on order, should be delivered shortly. The interior for that, and we're working on the electric and everything to upgrade that. The place has fully been abated, some 2,500 bags of asbestos and pigeon remains and droppings, and it's fully cleaned now at this point in time. We did a walkthrough for the exit of our air conditioning systems. I have to tell you, I don't know who's been in there looking around at all, but each individual office has their own thermostat. A lot of them were set to 72, 73 and didn't need to actually function. When our air conditioning was turned on in July, I rarely used mine based on just the way the ambient air was happening in City Hall. So I think that was a great project for the city. And that also has heat alternatives too, so I'm anxious to see how that's going to work with our boiler system. Fire escape doors are coming in, and they're going to start to be installed, and that pretty much should wrap up all the work to City Hall.
Did they finish that window?
The window is in. That's in.
I must have walked right past it because I didn't.
Yeah.
I know they were
walked
covered
past
it and I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, I walked right past it today, but they did all the final grouting or sealing and everything on Friday. That was done. For those of us who were driven through the city, paving is started as far as milling. We started on Wednesday. They're going to complete final milling tomorrow. That's on 7th Street, 6th and 2nd, 14th, Selby Drive, and 26th, and 23rd Street as well. Paving should be completed if it's not pushed back based on weather, so there's weather dependent. But paving is scheduled for Monday and Tuesday. And that's all I have for this point in time, unless there's any questions.
All right. Nope, I don't have any questions. We'll move into old business.
There's no old business that we have, just a new business.
Okay, new business.
It's a public hearing to hear local law number 4 for 2023. It's a local law to amend chapter 168, 1.2 of the City Code of Watervliet. You need to read the legal notice into the record.
No, I think if we have proof that the notice was published as required, so the mayor should open the public hearing, ask for any comments, and if there are no comments, he can close the public hearing.
All right, as so advised, I'll open up the public hearing for anybody who has any comments on local law number 4. And just for the record, there is no one in attendance tonight for the public hearing, so I'll close the public hearing for local law number 4.
So with the public hearing being closed, I do note, Mayor, that I think you had received an email
Yes.
from someone who had some comments regarding the changes to the local law. So I don't know if you wanted to have a discussion about that or not.
Yeah, I think it's again, I think it's was kind of, I think it was what we intended, what I was seeing as being intended, but I didn't know whether or not it should be more explicit on that, because it kind of does say at least one tipper per unit. And I think the intent was that we were asking for a 65-gallon tipper or a 95-gallon tipper, and also that would be dependent upon, let's say, the use of that particular unit. So if it was a 3 or 4 family, they might want the larger unit. If it was a senior in that unit, they might want a smaller tipper. What I think the suggestion was, in some way, shape, or form, what he was saying was, look at, I have a few units, and they're basically a single family, a single unit or person in their family. One tipper would probably suffice for the entire building, or at least 2 of them, or 3 of the units, which I think was probably pretty much what we were getting at. So is that something that we can be a little bit more specific on?
Certainly can be. I guess my only concern would be that if you're not requiring every unit to have a tipper, you're going to be subjecting yourself to the possibility that, oh, it was Christmas week and I only had 2 tippers for my 5 unit, and now the 2 tippers are overflowing, cover can't be closed, and the usual issues regarding that. To me, it's not a big investment required of a landlord to have the tippers for every unit. If one of the goals of the whole change in the law was to make sure that garbage is properly placed in the tippers, and that we don't have a situation where things blowing all over the place, the best way to assure that would be to make sure that each unit has a tipper. That's my comment. But
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm good with either way, really. Yeah.
So as written, the law would require every unit to have at least 1 tipper. And again, these are for buildings that do not have any units, at least one of which would be occupied by the owner of the property. So if you live in the property and you have 3 rental units, you're not, the way we're dealing with those people is not changing. But if all 4 of those units were occupied by tenants, then every single unit would have to have a tipper.
And what is the penalty? Is there a penalty involved?
So the penalties go back to the overall, the pre-existing penalties, so we have not changed the penalties. If there's a violation of 168-1.2, then the code sets it out, and it's a climbing fine depending upon how many times you violate it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And just for the record, also, we had, in preparation for anyone coming tonight, we had 33, I believe it was 33 different types of photos of some of the most, I don't say it's even most egregious, but some of the most common problems we were having with garbage in the alleys, garbage outside, people overloading the cans, crows all over the garbage because of the garbage on top of the cans or on the ground. So these were the common things that we're trying to avoid with this new proposal. Okay.
And I would just point out that this would go effect or be effective as of January 1, 2024, provides people time to go out and get the timbers that they need, and for the city to provide whatever education it wants to provide to make sure that people are aware of their requirements moving forward.
Right. We are in the process of preparing new updated brochures on what multifamily or tenant responsibilities and owners' responsibilities, garbage, even the snow removal. So those brochures are being finalized. Well, I think I finalized them tonight, and then I will send the final copy to you, Joe, tomorrow. Take one more gander at it, make sure it's okay. We did look at it a little closer for wording. We did revise it, so make sure you read it closely if we got to make anything, and then we'll send it out for printing. And then some of those brochures, I'm not sure, 1, 2 will be placed in the water bills, and then we'll disseminate them through the rest of the city in some way, shape, or form. Okay? Yes. Good. Anything else? Do you have any other comments on it?
No.
No?
I think it's,
Okay. All right.
I'm all in favor.
Next resolution?
Resolution 63 for 2023. It's a resolution adopting the Family Medical Leave Act policy for the city of Watervliet.
I'll make a motion that we move on resolution number 63 for 2023.
I'll second it.
So I can comment real briefly. Every entity that is subject to the provisions of the Family Medical Leave Act should have a policy. So this might be going into the category of better late than never. So this is a policy that covers everything that is required to be covered in the policy. I believe the city has been providing FMLA benefits all along, but it is good to have a document like this that employees can refer to if needed in order to ascertain their rights under the FMLA.
Read it. Second.
Yep.
Yeah, all those, okay.
So we should take a roll.
Yeah, go on.
Mayor Patricelli,
In favor?
Councilman Dawes.
In favor.
The ayes have it. Should I close it at?
Just closed at 6:10, open and closed at 6:10.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Vote on this? No. Because I think we have to identify the new changes that we just spoke about. Does that relate to any change?
I think my understanding was that the mayor and councilman were okay with the draft as presented tonight. So
No change?
No change.
changes.
Okay, so do we want to,
So I thought it was on the agenda to vote, so if it's not, we would vote next time.
okay, yeah, I didn't put it on there, and I know even with this ordinance, without Councilwoman Diamond being here, that you needed, I know the ordinance needs a full,
Yeah.
but the local, this could have
It
been.
could have been, but we can do it next time.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. Next on the agenda is ordinance number 6 for 2023. It's an ordinance with the city of Watervliet, of New York, amending section 260-50, schedule 14, parking prohibited at all times.
We need a motion on
Motion.
Because we would not be able to pass it by a unanimous vote tonight, there should not, that wouldn't make any sense to make a motion or a vote on it, but certainly we can have some discussion about it. So Joe, do you want to?
Sure. This location, and I provided a photo there for you, so you all have it. is intersection of Broadway and Fifth Avenue, or Fifth Street, I'm sorry. And you can see the mock-up of where I put the no parking area. It's on both the north and south, based on the visibility exiting Fifth Street, taking either a right or taking a left. I had proposed that those locations, after marking them off, would be 18 foot. A typical parking space is 9 foot wide by 18 feet long, so I'm thinking 1 foot of, 1 car length of visibility allows the a car coming off of Fifth Street pretty clear access going either north or south onto Broadway. So that's that depicts it on the photo.
Okay. Yeah,
So this will be brought up at the next meeting
At the
on
next meeting.
October 5th.
I'm gonna take a closer look down there on the south side of that.
Yeah.
Just to look at it. I'll make
Yeah.
sure I talk to I wanna see what that entails. I get both sides. I always know that it was the north side that was always the complaint. And like I said, this goes back many times. They've complained about that.
Yeah, and if you would, take a look at it, just to get a sense of how I was explaining, you had to inch out to see if you're coming, because that lane's further out than you would think, and not seeing anybody back. If you've got 2 cars that are there, maybe one a little further up, it doesn't give you your vision.
And you're right about one thing too, is it does seem like that's a little bit of an area where things speed up.
Yes,
It-
very much so.
For some reason, I don't know why, but it seems like
Because
that's
it's unrestricted movement from First Street.
I think
all
it's
the way
straight,
northbound.
yeah, it's a straight
It's
run, so
no
once you
stop
come around
signs
that
in
corner,
between.
once you come
Yeah.
around that corner, it's a good path.
very good.
So that is all that we have for action for tonight.
All right. All right, anything further on their appropriations in the county?
I think we've covered that, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent, good. All right, we'll have, we'll start with our public comment period.
Being that there is no one in the building this evening, public comment period is closed.
Seeing that there's no one here tonight, we'll forego with the public comment period. And is there anything else to be brought tonight?
I just want to commend the volunteers that did a great job on the Arsenal City Run this past Sunday. As the former recreation director, seeing the large group out there and the beautiful weather and all the volunteers came together, I think it was a great day for the city of Watervliet. And all those should be commended.
It was a good day.
It's a good day.
It was a good day. It was a perfect day for everything. I did actually post the video of the ceremony too with Charlie, so that's on it.
Yep. Great
Just a few things that I had to. We're going around tomorrow to look at the location for the other 2 bells or 3 bells that we're trying to find a spot for. They will be taken down. One will be taken down from St. Bridget's Church, the other one from the Methodist Church, the one here in the library, and looking for the spot for them so that they're better displayed throughout the city. I also marked today the location of the flagpole at the Hudson Shores Park. Joe, you received an email from me regarding that, right? You're all set with that too?
Yep.
With Lindsay and any of the other work being done?
Correct.
Right? Okay, so I got that spot. We have that flagpole was donated, so it'll be an installation, or Scott will be doing it as soon as the pole comes in. As far as I know, it hasn't come in yet, correct?
Who's going to be doing that donation? I know who's donating the money. Who's the one doing the work?
Scott Boyser. Okay. Scott,
Greenwood contract.
yeah, Greenwood, he'll put it in for me. Any movement yet on the Hudson Shores restaurant, Joe?
No. I did meet with a local realtor, and what I learned was, although it went to the cyber at the capital region, typically you might see a blast come from the cyber Association, which is the Capital Region Real Estate. I reached out to the executive director there as to what may have happened. I'm not sure if it was our side engineer or if it was a thought that was supposed to go out. But in talking to several realtors that I do know, it never went to the community in the sense of the larger markets like CDRG and all those type of the one, that typically there are large commercial and the Howards, Hannah's. So I'm going to quickly try to correct that and put something out with them, maybe move something a little bit more downstate, around the state to see if we get something here. So I need to find out why that wasn't done, and like I said, as soon as I hear from Kelly, we'll make a greater impact.
And don't forget, I know, I don't think we were, with Matt's suggestion again, about the keep it simple.
Yeah.
I know we're not looking for a Chick-fil-A.
Right, we're not looking for a Chick-fil-A. And I did talk to Chuck LaFundy today on the engineering process as to where we are. If anything, what we're doing for the docks is we're going to have those docks moved here on site, so we can have the docks installed first thing in 2024. I need to reach out to the boat company and advise them. I think Chuck and I are under the opinion, take them in and put them in for a week to pull them out, because we pull those out in October, early November. May not be fruitful, but I'll talk with Nor and see what their thoughts are.
Yeah.
So,
And
I know they try to push to get even docks in of that Starbucks, but with the volume of water and their success there, they weren't even putting theirs in. So.
Yeah, I think the thing that I was looking to do, I know I hate to waste the time and the money to put them in and then have to take them out, but it was the modifications and the preparations to try and figure it out now.
That's exactly, that's why.
That was the, I know we're going to have welders and cutters on site, so it's, if there's any changes or modifications, like to do them and not wait.
Right, well, that's why now, once Louisiana finishes their paving contracts, the next thing is going to be installing those docks over here, getting them on our site, so we have them here, and the companies can work together on that to try to do it, so.
Okay, all right, good. All right, if there's nothing else to be brought in front of the council, then I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second it. Call the roll.
Mayor Patricelli,
In favor?
Councilman Dawes.
In favor.
Okay, our next meeting will be October 5th.
Yeah, and at that time, we will make a formal presentation on the water and sewer budget. The schedule would be to be calling a public hearing on the 5th for October 19th. We'll have a public hearing on the 19th for the 2024 water and sewer budget with an anticipation that we may vote on the 19th that night.
Okay. All right, thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thanks, hope the crowd can now.